on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Save Show. This is your host, Justin. This is a weekly updated audio visual journal where you get to see me struggle in real time to become a better man, better husband, better father, and most importantly, you'll get to observe as I try to walk closer with God, which is my ultimate goal. Today, we got a special guest episode with the gentleman behind MereMasculinity. He and I just connected on Instagram, liked the stuff he's putting out there through his page, invited him on, and we had a brief conversation just discussing his impetus to start the page, what caused him to seek out masculinity and to fulfill that masculine role, as well as his experience doing 75 Hard. He recently started the process, so I hope you guys enjoy. Just a quick word before we get started. If you want to support the show, there is a link to support through Podcasters for Spotify. Podcasters for Spotify. It's not Anchor anymore. So there is that link, or there's always just sharing the stuff. On Instagram, share the episode with friends, podcast reels, anything we're putting out there, sharing it does go a long ways, and I appreciate all the growth that I'm seeing lately. Last week, we did put out the new shirts. Got this God Wins Always shirt out there. It's oversized, it's comfort colors. It's a bit of a heavier tee that I really like when I exercise. So it's out there. It's more in that gym fit type of a lane, but I am very proud of the design and how it turned out. It feels great. I've worked out with it quite a bit. We also have the other Saved Show God Wins design with a rose in it. That one's beautiful as well. Same comfort colors. Great to work out in. I've used and abused both the past couple weeks since getting a sample. So if you want to support the show in that regard, those are on the saved.store, and I appreciate all the support in that effort as well. Without further ado, please enjoy this episode with MereMasculinity. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Save Show. This is your host, Justin, sitting down with Dan of the MereMasculinity page. Thank you for joining me tonight, sir.
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here.
I think I found your page just a few months ago, and I just wanted to reach out because I've found a lot of knowledge from it. So I just wanted to have you on here and spend some time together.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I think the place where I usually start with people, like Stoic Christian, I think I just mentioned to you before we started recording, is just, what a little bit about your testimony or why you put the page together, however you want to start, Dan.
Yeah. I grew up Church of Christ, which is not Latter-day Saints. I get that mixed up a lot, or people mix that up a lot.
Sure.
But I grew up in the church, and so that's always been part of my life. Went to a Christian college. Didn't finish there. Finished at a state school. But that was where I met my wife, and I followed her to her local state school. And we got married. And then last year I was just kind of feeling like, I don't know if it's like a void or something, but I was feeling not quite as masculine as I felt I should be. Not the man that she deserves or the man that I should be for God. And so I saw pages like Stoic Christian, Simple Men blog was another one that kind of inspired me to start. And I thought, I can do that. I have an IT background, and
Okay.
so I was pretty familiar with most technology, and so I was like, I know I can do that. I have a little bit of design experience too, and so I started out more of just a accountability situation for myself. I had started doing the daily devotional, and I would post a verse or something from that every day. I haven't kept up with that. Probably should get back to it, but
Yeah.
But that was just a way for me to hold myself accountable, along with even learning more.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
I started that at the same time as I really started hitting the gym as well.
Okay.
And then I was doing pretty well with that, and I'd actually put on quite a bit of muscle compared to what I had, which was almost nothing. And so I just kept going from there.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, it's funny how often those two things go um, hand in hand. You speak to enough guys, and it seems as though they start to get their lives together. They start to pursue Christ to a more intense degree, and that goes
Mhm.
hand in hand with more time at the gym or cleaning up their diet a little bit better. Almost as if it's a whole, well, it is. It's totally transforming the power that God can have in your life and totally transform who you are.
Yeah, and it's keeping your temple for him, or cleaning up your temple and bettering it for him
Right,
in
right,
his
exactly.
service.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. So I think we're both doing a little bit of the 75 hard thing.
Yeah.
And I'm day, well, my planned day would have been, I think, 69 right now, as we
Mhm.
record, but I failed one week just for a medical thing. So not a big deal.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong, but jump back on the wagon. So I'm at day 30 or so.
Gotcha.
But the thing that I'm noticing is that what this is good for, what it has been good for, in addition to dieting and regular exercise, is that I've been sober for the past 69 days or whatever.
Awesome.
I haven't had a drink, and in no way was I an alcoholic before, but it's just
Mhm.
easy at the
But
end
it's
of the day.
still,
Right, right. It's still
yeah.
it's still keeping your temple clean, like you mentioned, and it's easy to get into a habit of it's the end of the day. I'm gonna have a beer, or I'm gonna pour like a sip of
Yeah.
whiskey, and
And
it
then you're
like
just drinking calories too, which
right.
I like. I haven't struggled with that too much personally, but sodas I really liked,
Hmm.
and not having any sodas. I mean, I have a diet soda every now and then, but
Right.
but
Stay
trying to
sane.
cutting that calories out is huge.
Yeah. Yeah. And it totally just changes your mindset along with everything else for 75 hard. Is just, um, what you're cutting out is almost as important as what you are consuming. So
Mhm.
like you pick a vegan diet or a carnivore diet, those are kind of the opposite ends of the spectrum as far as extremeness. Um, but what matters most is what you're leaving out. So if you're a vegan, you can still kind of indulge too much in Oreos, because they're vegan.
Mhm.
And so it's what you're cutting out as well as what you've left included. um, and for me, not thinking about diet anymore, but more so about faith and kind of being more of a man. It's the things that I'm not indulging in anymore. So like having a
Mhm.
drink most days of the week, just one, just cutting that out. How much closer am I to being the man that God wants me to be?
Right. Right. And what diet are you following?
So for me, I've got some autoimmune stuff. I
Mhm.
think I mentioned it to you before, just like an eczema thing on my hands, and I'm trying to fix that through any means necessary. So I
Right.
I chose gluten free as my diet. So that knocks out a lot. Like I said, it's what kind of
Right.
what
It
you're
does.
not eating, and so that left meat and potatoes
Yeah.
basically. And
Which I mean that's good too.
yeah, yeah, it's been working for me. What about you?
I've really just focused on counting calories
Okay,
as a diet, and so for at least for right now at my weight, it's 1750 is kind of where I'm at
okay,
as a goal for every day,
yeah,
and then prioritizing protein on top of that just to maintain everything,
sure, sure.
muscle and all that.
Right. Yeah. So you don't go crazy and just kind of wither away as you do two
Mhm.
workouts.
And you and what was the other account? The was it theologian?
Oh yeah, the
The,
Cole. Yeah, I think he changed his
yeah,
name to Christus Rex. Yeah, he
right,
started with
right. That's
me.
what it was.
I'm
Y'all really inspired me to start doing it too.
okay, right on. Well, I'm glad. Like I said, I've failed a couple times, so if you do, I guess it's just bound to happen. Uh,
Yeah, I'm on day 15 and haven't yet, so
there you go. Congrats.
trying to
That's
stay
awesome.
strong with it.
Yeah. And then Cole, Christus Rex, he's
Mhm.
still in the Navy, so he's got training and stuff that comes up. So I've talked to him, and it's late at night, and he just doesn't feel like doing, another workout or
No, yeah,
getting
that's
something in.
time
So
management's the hardest thing to do with it.
right, right. And I don't know about your situation, Dan, but I work from home, so it's kind of I still have things that I need to accomplish during the day from the work aspect, but it's a lot easier to
Mhm.
grab my kettlebell and go outside or whatever it is. It's a little easier for me. What about you?
We're somewhat hybrid. I can kind of ask to if I need to stay home for something. Um, I'm in project management, so I tend to like to be in person as much
Sure.
as possible, or at
Yeah.
least in the office.
Right.
Some of our people are remote anyway.
Gotcha.
But we moved out quote unquote to the country. It's not really the country, but people have chickens and stuff.
A little bit further than the
Um,
burbs, maybe.
yeah, yeah. So it's like a half hour or so to get to work
Okay.
on the short end, and so that takes a lot of time
Right.
in my day, and so it. I've managed it so far, but it's been very difficult to get an hour and a half of working out in.
Right. Do you have nights where you still need to get another workout in or anything crazy
Yeah,
happening?
yeah. I've done a few walks with my dog at like 9:30 at night
Yeah.
just to try to get it in.
And when, I guess I'm trying to formulate the question the right way. When that does
Mhm.
happen, it's 9:30 and you're walking with your dog. Like what's going through your head just then?
Not a whole lot, I guess.
Fair enough. I
I'm
didn't know if,
just
yeah,
no,
go ahead.
it's just trying to get it in at night, knowing that that's kind of my last thing. I make sure my wife is fine before I leave. Because it's just her in the house. No, no, she likes the
Sure.
dog because it keeps her company.
Yep.
Um, but once I'm gone, and I don't go that far. It's like less a mile out and just do some circles.
Right.
But it's nice to kind of zone out and just walk for a while. I mean, it's late at night, so my head's a bit on a swivel, but I'm
Right.
not in a dangerous area or anything. But
Well,
you
you
can't
never
be
know.
too careful.
Coyotes or something. If you people
Hmm.
got chicken coops. Yep. I just didn't know if there was maybe a quote or some wisdom that you're sticking to when it's late at night and you already put in the full day of work and you got personal stuff and yeah, you're still outdoors,
I think, yeah,
getting the work
I do
done.
some thinking sometimes during that, just with whatever's going on in life at the moment.
Mhm.
With a baby on the way, there's obviously a lot to think about.
Right. Congrats, by the way. That's
Thank you.
awesome. Um, yeah, with the page and with 75 Hard, is there anything that you cling to as far as sources for, what your idea of masculinity would be? Are you're reading Marcus Aurelius every morning? Are you, listening to David Goggins when you're doing your workouts? What's getting you motivated?
Um, there's a few different things. I'm gonna show my political persuasion, I guess.
Sure.
Um, I listen to, Matt Walsh. I'll listen to Joe Rogan. I really liked his podcast with David Goggins. That was a cool one.
Yeah.
Um, let's see who else. I've listened to yours a couple times.
Thank you.
Um, just and others, and like reading through other people's posts. Like I said, the Simple Men blog was a good inspiration for me.
Mhm.
Um, I had a my daily devotional book is men focused, and so
Okay.
that's been a good thought provoker. And some of the content from some of my posts is kind of based on thoughts from that.
Gotcha. Yeah, that was good.
Um,
That was going to be my next question is where do you find inspiration? Like for me with making the reels and things that I do on Instagram, that walk that I take with my rug plate, there's
mhm.
a lot of time for contemplation and kind of planning on that front. So I didn't know if maybe you're the same way, if you're thinking and absorbing things as you're out and about and that helps you the next day with your content.
Yeah, some of them are completely random. Like I did one on video games just based on a conversation I had with my boss.
Yeah,
I had some stuff that was just almost straight out of the devotional book, and then maybe some stuff I saw uh, on somebody else's page, and I was like, I have something to say about that.
hmm,
That, or I have there's one on Stoic Christians where I was really confident. I was like, nope, nobody's getting what he's saying, and so I feel like I can try to express that for him, I guess.
sure. Yeah, add your 2 cents, kind of help out.
Mhm.
That's cool.
So it's kind of from all over. There's nothing real specific, and some of the stuff I take daily, and some of it it's a little more planned.
Sure, sure. Yeah, if I look at my phone, I've got a note on my iPhone here just full of
Mhm.
what to somebody else might look like a word salad, but it's just ideas, to run with in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. And I keep all my past ones just in case I want to go back and redo something or revisit.
Yeah. Yeah. I use Canva actually. So everything's kind of saved in there. And
Mhm.
if I need to re-edit, it's just right there. What, as you're thinking about creating a masculinity page, what is masculinity to you, if you can describe it here?
A lot of it's what I would want to be as both like a father and a husband
Mhm.
is as a masculinity is very much a protector and provider role. Um, you're put on the earth to take care of your wife and your children. And so I want to be the best kind of man I can be for them
Mhm.
and obviously for God as well. Um, and that took looking at myself and going, I'm right now, I'm not in a place where I could successfully keep my wife safe. I'm in a pretty good position where I'm able to provide, but I was not healthy. And so I focused on really getting healthy, both spiritually, mentally, and physically.
Mhm. Good for
And
you.
so I think you really need to hit all those to be a masculine man.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And you mentioned some of the podcasts that you're listening to, but have you heard of The Order of Man? Ryan Mickler. Have you listened to that one?
I've read through his page. I haven't listened to his podcast yet.
Okay. Yeah, I would encourage you to check it out if you need something else
Mhm.
to listen to. I know there's only so much time in the day. But exactly like you described, the protector, provider, and preside, I think is the other word that
Yeah,
he
yeah.
uses. And so I read his book a few years ago, and that kind of helped me to get to be more masculine. We were starting a
Mhm.
family at the time, and two kids in, I think it had a positive impact on me over the last few years. Um, and I think he's got another book out, but that's a great one to go listen to. Just
Mhm.
as you went through your description there, that's spot on for what he's
Yeah, I
saying
think I
here.
have one of his books on my Amazon list at the moment too.
Okay,
So
cool,
it'll be on the list, on the reading list soon.
perfect. Yeah, I do the same thing. My wish list on Amazon is just books that I need to read,
Oh yeah.
and I can't quite keep up, monetarily or just actually reading the books that I've ordered.
Yeah, same. I've still got like three or four that I've purchased. And I've taken it a little bit slower, but that I need to get through. And the 75 hard has helped me get through some of them.
Yeah, that's a good point. 10 pages per day. I
Mhm.
got through Mere Christianity, a book on three views of the millennium, which I'd never learned about before. So post-millennialism, amillennialism, and premillennialism.
Mhm.
So that was pretty academic. I just took a break from that level of academic for it's called Confronting Christianity. Um, and you mentioned, your political persuasion there, listening to Matt
Yeah.
Walsh. I do as well. So no animosity
So
right
we're in a safe space here.
here. Right, exactly. Um, but having said that, this book, Confronting Christianity,
Mhm.
it was good. I did find it to stand on biblical ground. However, the language that the author uses, she uses more of like the woke type of language.
Gotcha.
So I think, she's on the opposite end of the political spectrum, but I enjoyed it because at the end of the day, she's still echoing, what I try to do here is
Mhm.
biblical foundation and biblical principles. So I'd recommend it if you have the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good.
I just finished that today, so I'm excited to dive in. I've got um, I've got one called Know the Truth, and I think it's just about the entirety of the church history. So that one's going to be tough to get through. But like you said, 75 hard really helps to take huge chunks out of books.
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm tearing through. I'm reading a book right now called Boundaries, um, by Henry Cloud and John Townsend,
Okay.
and it's been really good to read. It kind of focuses on setting boundaries, obviously, um, both with your friends, family, and around yourself, um, coworkers, everybody. And it's biblically focused as well.
Okay.
So they quote scripture every other paragraph or so. That's a really good one to do. That one I've kind of been reading it for more personal reasons,
Sure.
and so that's been helpful and insightful for me.
Yeah, that's great. Is that the first one that you've been reading since starting 75 Hard?
Yeah, and it's like 200 or 300 pages, so I haven't quite gotten
Okay.
all the way through it yet.
Right, just give it time.
Yeah, yeah.
That was that's how I started measuring books this year was, 10 pages per day. How many days can I get through?
Mhm.
300 pages would be in a month, I can knock out a book and um just knowing that there's an endpoint and maintaining consistency has helped
Yeah,
because I don't know about you, but I've got, like a bookshelf full of books that haven't been read yet, and that kind of gets overwhelming. Um, but I
for
guess
sure.
that's just an illustration for larger things in life too. You just leave something sit for too long. Procrastinating, it just adds to your mental load and your anxiety.
Definitely. We just bought our house, and so we've got like 20 projects we need to do, and not enough money to quite pay for it all, but we're trying to like space everything out so we can, and
Mhm.
there's so many things to accomplish and try to get things ready right before the baby comes so everything's perfect, but kind of have to take a step back and realize it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be good.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. That baby will have, you and your wife loving them, and
That's
then
all it needs
right, and then a roof
ultimately.
over their heads, and some food.
Hmm.
That's sounds like we're in similar mind tracks, if we could call it that. Just,
Yeah.
so many projects, and can we afford everything? And at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is just know that, God's going to provide. He always has, through, thick and thin in the last 7 years. My wife and I have been married. So it's just going to be another one of those times where we have to have a little bit of faith.
Hmm. For sure.
And that's not a cop out. I still got to go to work, but
No, no, yeah, you have to be able to rely on faith every now and then,
yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
not
It's not
always.
right. It's not exactly faith through works, but faith requires a little bit of work on your own part.
Hmm.
So I I was hoping to discuss just what your goal would be with the page, and it sounds like what you put together is more of an accountability tool, that people like myself have actually gotten some value out of. But is there a broader plan here for mere masculinity?
There was originally some kind of side hustle monetary venture here, just because I had seen that work for some other people.
Sure.
But I've started to lean towards not using that and just mainly using it as an accountability tool for myself and to uh, just give information to others as I find it for myself. I've had a few people, message me and about maybe something they're struggling with or just questions that they might have and helping them along just as I'm helping myself along.
Yeah. Well, good for you. That's awesome. It have been like subscription based, that kind of thing that you see people use?
I was starting to do ebooks
Okay.
and I had like one or two. I got like $10, $15 off of it, but I didn't pursue it too hard.
Sure. I gotcha. Well, to have written or completed a book, that's a pretty big testament to the type of person you are.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I uh I think I'm like you. I don't see this as kind of a monetary venture. I wanted to start a podcast, so I started a podcast. I thought
Mhm.
I could be creative and make some reels and um, point people towards God, or at least start a conversation with them. And the shirts and things that I'm making is just kind of fun. Yeah, I never had that kind of thing in mind when I started either. One of my buddies has like a sports podcast that's basically his livelihood, and so that looks appealing, but I think to your point, we can do a lot more good if that's not the focus. People are coming to you for
Mhm.
help, and you're guiding them through things. So I think
Yeah,
that's
and
probably the right path. Yeah.
it challenges your faith and your knowledge on what you believe in. And so it really builds on it and makes you stronger as you're talking to these people, or maybe having a disagreement on what the Bible means or what it
Mm.
says. And I've said something wrong before, and I had a guy call me out on it, and I was like, um, oh, you're right. I had that completely backwards.
Sure.
But we're all here to learn from each other, especially on all these mutual pages.
Mhm.
Um, but it's been enjoyable to kind of learn and grow alongside others. I have a group of guys that we're all kind of in a group chat with, all different kind of masculinity levels of pages. Like
Mhm.
mine's Christian masculinity, others are just kind of more gym based
Sure.
or fatherhood based. And so we've all kind of been helping each other, giving each other ideas and growing that way too,
Yeah, that's cool.
bouncing things off.
Yeah. The the cool thing that I found since starting this little hobby and project is that there's others who are also trying to do the same thing. So, your page or some of the others that we've mentioned here today, and everybody's super approachable. So, I've got a
Yeah.
question, or I want to put something together like a podcast with the Mere Masculinity page, and you're very open to it and happy to spend some time with me. And I guess I'm just saying I'm grateful. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate the invite as well.
Yeah, and the just like you said, using this as an accountability tool and bouncing ideas off each other, and perhaps having a disagreement on something is also helpful. I feel like it's quoted often from Proverbs: "Iron sharpens iron," so one
Hmm.
man sharpens another. But if you really think about how a sword is made, or iron is forged, there's heat, there's friction. Something's getting hammered out. Um, and so it's not just fellowship, it's perhaps you and I trade barbs and have an open
Yeah.
discussion on something and reach some sort of conclusion, making each other better.
Yeah. If it's all kumbaya, there's something's wrong.
Right. Yeah, you need to get out of that church.
Something's hidden. Yeah, exactly. If there's no discourse in the church, then something's going on.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. Well, Dan, I didn't want to take too much of your time tonight. I appreciate everything that you do. Certainly, it's more than just an accountability tool for you at this point. I'm getting a lot out of your page, and I'm very grateful. But is
I'm
there
glad.
anything else that you wanted to cover here today?
Nothing I can think of at the moment. It was really fun to talk to you.
Yeah, you too. You too. Any parting words of wisdom or anything that we can look ahead to on your page tomorrow?
Um, I was thinking about tomorrow doing something on a ancestry, and looking at your. I really like to look at my paternal line,
Sure.
and how to dive deep into that and see where you're from and how that might have influenced where you are.
Okay. Cool. Well, I can't wait to see it. I'll make sure that the Mere Masculinity handle is in the show notes so that people can find you. And again, thank you for what you're doing, and thanks for spending some time with me today.
Yes, sir. Likewise.
Thanks, Dan. And with that, he's left the building, as they say. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I had a good time trying to get to know Mere Masculinity, trying to get to know Dan a little bit more, why he started, how 75 Hard is going, and some of this masculinity stuff that I know that some of us are dealing with quite often, especially in today's day and age. That said, we've got the new shirts out there on the save.store. You can share this show with your friends. All that support is very much appreciated. Like I said, God's blessed me with this opportunity to grab a microphone and kind of start a journal, like I describe it, and to see that people are liking it. It's engaging people. It's very humbling. So I'm glad that you're here. I hope that you reach out with prayer requests. We're in the Lenten season, so hopefully everyone's praying more so than they would before. Yeah, get out there and pray. God loves you. I love you. We're all blessed. And please remember, you are saved through Christ.